Got a top 8 qualifier coming up, and we're gonna run you through the rest of top 8 to completion. Of course, once again, it's the one and only Flambeezy here to hold it down with Hangman, my brother. Again.
We got some hype stuff ahead of us. I love Squad Strike. We ran it once at Aeon for one of our regionals. And since then, I've been in love with the format. I love it's like an all-star mode kind of battle format. You got to rotate through your characters. There's like a different type of thinking to it. But at the core of it all, it's still just regular 1v1s. So we got a lot of matchups we got to look forward to in a small amount of time. So we got to see what Jet and RedeemerZ can bring for us tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at these lineups. We might already have a character gone that back air almost connecting to the dome. Never mind, they didn't even recover. So yeah, forget about that character. What's a Mario, bro? Hold on, look at this long waiting load time. Well, we got our second character in. It's going to be Lucina going up against DK. Should be a little bit easier of a matchup, I think.
Stocks and characters are going to be going a mile a minute here in Squad Strike, but there's a couple of things to take a note of. Notably, it takes a little bit for those characters to load in sometimes, and it's not uniform across the cast. So, say for instance you got this Donkey Kong on the field, he can charge up a giant punch while he's waiting. There are a lot of other characters that can take advantage of this too. So you can't really approach Squad Strike as the traditional 1v1. But it looks like RedeemerZ is going to have to start doing that now. He's breaking out the main. We're on to Rob, and it's his last character. He's going to have to rotate now through Donkey Kong, Incineroar, and Ike if he even wants to put some numbers on the board in his favor.
And let me tell you, man, some of those characters on the lineup are not exactly family-friendly. My man will find himself on the receiving end of some capital punishment. I'm just trying to get things going, but the first 2 characters he had really didn't get a chance to show anything about what they were about. Just couldn't seem to quite get himself to recover correctly.
It's rough business, man, because you can't even really maintain momentum with a character well in a format like this. You just gotta sort of swing and just keep riding it out. Donkey Kong finally dropping for Jet, but now we got Incineroar. This is a character that has no issue with putting down damage, which is very important in Squad Strike. If you can at least get those numbers up, you don't have to worry about securing the kill super easy. And considering that the follow-up from Incineroar is Ike, with a lot of damage down on Rob, that could be easy business.
I mean, speaking of easy business, was able to get a revenge, I believe, on maybe the gyro, but, you know, really didn't get a chance to use it much at all. Kind of got stuffed out, and now he's on the receiving end of some more punishment. But, you know, with that said, RedeemerZ is still... Oh, that's going to be a tough lariat to eat right there. But now, no, it's not looking great. It is not looking great. You know, 123, he does have the Ike on deck, like you were mentioning before. And, you know, he's going to come out, probably do like a landing there to up air and call it a day if it even gets that far.
But Alolan Whip's going to land, and Game 1's going to go very handedly into Jet's favor. Now, I noticed earlier in the stream, RedeemerZ has been anchoring with this Rob constantly. So whoever's leading forward almost doesn't matter, because as long as he survives to the Rob, he's still in there. Now, while I think that's a pretty solid game plan, I feel like he should maybe consider going with something meatier, something sort of buying time, threaten another stock, put down a lot of damage, make it so it's a little bit harder for his opponent to chisel down to the Rob. Because the Rob's able to put in mad work, but honestly, that Mario from earlier was not even there.
What Mario?
Who?
I'm him. No, honestly, I think you're speaking the gospel right here. And speaking of that Mario is gone altogether. Lucina is going to stay, but this time, instead of Mario, we have Diddy. So I'm actually, like, pretty intrigued by that decision. I'm going to see what that ends up panning out to be. But, you know, I feel like that's going from one character who I don't think Mario's bad by any means, but Diddy's definitely one of the more underexplored characters in the metagame. We're going to see what he can offer to the table that the Mario could not.
In general, Diddy isn't played as much just because he struggles to put down a lot of damage, and barring some very particular setups, he kind of struggles to go in with kills now. Very different animal from the past iterations of Smash from what we're used to. But if he's able to provide something different to this matchup, maybe Redeemer knows something we don't. But one other thing I want to bring up as far as what Redeemer's bringing into Game 2 is he's decided to opt for Lucina on point instead of having her in the middle of the pack. This, I think, is really smart just because he's able to counter in what Jet is leading with. We already see the DK down, and now it's time for Incineroar much earlier than we saw in Game 1.
And already starting with some up-tilt juggles. I mean, I think you said it best, Hangman, just the way he's able to use this. Oh, okay. Just double-checking, because people seem to have an issue with recovering here. You know, top 8 qualifier, but hey, best people make mistakes sometimes. But no, really, I mean, Lucina is just a very solid character in general, right? Like when you're thinking of, you know, your more traditional 3v3 team fighters, right? Usually the person you want to have on point is someone who, no matter who they send out first, can cover that matchup pretty well. And I think Lucina is amazing at doing exactly just that.
The Diddy's out. It's time for it to prove its worth. Banana's already on the field, but it's going to get thrown right back on Diddy Kong, slipping on it, taking that damage, and Darkest Lariat even making it all safe for Jet. I'm very curious to see what Diddy Kong can actually do in this situation, especially because Redeemer seems to be going pretty aggro, and he's leaving himself open to all of these moves. Look at the damage on Diddy already.
Yeah, 92 racked up, but, you know, this is at least closer than the last game was, right? We saw that Rob put in a lot of work toward the latter end of the first game. So with the fact that he already has 83 racked up,
We gotta see what that Rob's gonna do now.
It's time to clock in, big dog.
It's do or die for this Rob. RedeemerZ's got to make it really count. You're bringing up this damage, and it is a big deal, but if we're not able to secure that kill, that's just a little bit of rage that goes a long way in Incineroar's kit.
When you go for that command grab with Incineroar, there are going to be moments where you kind of scoop people out of the air, right? They're trying to hit you preemptively, maybe start up an aerial, and sometimes Incineroar will literally just grab them and not care about a goddamn thing, right? He'll just like, you know what? Come over here. I got some stuff to do. Let's wrap it up real quick.
Like, bro, coming from anime fighters, seeing air grabs, it's like, wow, this would be nutty in Smash. And then I look at Incineroar with a Alolan Whip, and I'm like, who decided to give this character an air grab? Jet deciding to even the playing field himself, an unfortunate SD, but now we get a chance to see what this Ike is capable of. And with a Rob at 100%, and you're gonna pretty much climb north of that very easily every time Ike takes a swing. RedeemerZ's gotta try and clinch this out, whether it's slowing the momentum down or trying to secure a quick kill.
Yeah, I'm thinking the latter might be the better option here if he's able to kind of camp by the ledge. You see him going under these platforms, streamlining the approach options for Jet, which might be exactly what he needs. If he's able to get him off the stage, try to get him to recover with the ether, you can try to spike it. But, wow, what a perfectly timed spot dodge.
I like how Jet had like tested with the jab one. He just wanted that little hit just to see what was going to happen. But now he's not really pressing advantage too hard. Just respond to where Rob's going to move. That's always been like the core game plan of how to fight around him. But one thing I like that RedeemerZ's doing, how he's protecting the top while it's an active hitbox. Very smart from him.
And we're getting down to that point where he's done a lot of the hard work, right? The percentages are looking roughly even. Definitely has himself in a spot where we can start fishing for that KO setup. 119 on the Jet here. Next hit, man.
Can we talk about that read, though?
You're gonna jump. I can sense it.
It was a done deal for him. All right, Jet's gonna take that too.
Well, I mean, you have to think about it too, right? Like, if I recall correctly,